Hey everybody, this week's episode of the R&R Show is brought to you by Fun Again Games. And welcome everybody, and welcome back, Ruel. How are you feeling, man?
Yeah, thanks for the welcome back. It is great to be back. I am doing much better, my friend. Thank you so much. I'm still, I've got health issues that I'm dealing with. But I'm on the mend and I'm better, and I'm very grateful for the fact that we can spend some time together and talk some games today.
You are on the mend and on the road, am I correct?
That is correct. Yeah. So, folks, this is not my normal studio setup. I am on the road again. As the old, I think it was a Willie Nelson song. Did I just reference Willie Nelson? Yes, I did. On the road
Yes,
again.
there you go.
This time, this time not in Florida, but I'm here in lovely Las Vegas, Nevada. Actually, this is almost like a preview of next March, folks.
Yeah.
Dice Tower West coming up in March 2nd through 5th. We'll be back in Vegas, but right now I'm here just spending some time during the holidays, visiting some family, hanging out. And hanging out in the room, not in front of my shelf wall of games, but I do have a bag full of games in the other room, and we're going to be playing them for the next couple of days.
Well, then
So
we got to get to work so you can get to playing
let's do
games.
this.
And we will just
Exactly.
enjoy the strange, mysterious painting that you have framed your head with. Nobody knows
Yes.
what it is. It's a mystery.
It's a bunch of colors, folks.
Hold on a
We don't
second.
know what it
Move
is.
your head. Folks, if you could mention down in the comments below, does anybody recognize this painting that just happens to be on the wall in Ruel's Airbnb? Inquiring minds want to know. I'm sure Ruel would like to know before he leaves.
I would love to know. I have
Okay.
no idea what it is.
Cool. Well, this week, folks, we are going to be doing a countdown of games that we would rush right out and buy because we are board game junkies and we are always chasing our latest fix. Since our sponsor this week is Fun Again Games, we spent the last few hours before we went live looking through their catalog to see what really jumped out at us right now. And we're going to be doing that countdown, and maybe we'll point out a couple games maybe you haven't heard of that might catch your interest as well. And if so, you might be in luck, folks, because our sponsor, Fun Again Games, is making a donation in the form of a contest. One lucky winner will get a $50 gift certificate to be spent at the Fun Again Games store. And so you might be wondering, well, I would like $50 for free to buy games. How do I win?
Great question. So, sometime during the show, we're going to be saying, I'm going to give you all the magic word, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But it's up to y'all to figure out, to listen for it, and then type in the name of the game that one of us are talking about during that time when the magic word is spoken. And then you're going to enter the name of the game into an email to an email at contest@rahdo.com, and that's how you'll be entered to into the raffle to win the $50 gift card from our friends at Fun Again Games.
Correct.
So, what is the magic word today?
The magic word today, folks, is bat. As in baseball bat, or as in vampire bat, or whatever it might be. Not bad.
Or,
Whichever one is going to say it is going to try to be clear and articulate that. Don't no false positives in case one of us says, "Oh, this game is bad," because we were listening for the word bat.
That's right. B-A-T, folks, as in bumblebee bat, the smallest mammal on Earth, bumblebee bat, also Batman.
Yes,
So,
two very, very different uses of the word. Okay, so as Ruel says, one of us is going to say it. When you hear it, make a note of whatever game we were talking about at that point, because as it says at the bottom of the screen, you mail that as your subject. If the game we were talking about was Roll for the Galaxy, you would put Roll for the Galaxy in the title. And instead of the word bat, which is what a lot of people do. And next week, we'll do you have to, until, what day? Until the new year. You have until the 4th of January, 2022 to figure out what game it was. Email that to contest@rahdo.com and enter, and we'll do a drawing on the morning of the 4th. Right.
Wow.
I think
Right.
that is it. And if so, we are ready to start talking about the top 10 games we'd buy right now. Are you ready to go, Ruel?
I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to update the thing here. So, folks, these are the top 10 games we buy right now. And I'm going to put my name or my game here. My number 10
Okay.
is Star Realms, the box set. Okay.
Okay.
My list is going to be a mix of old and new. Star Realms is a classic deck building game. This one is a big favorite of mine. It is probably one of the games that I've gifted the most because I think it's a wonderful introduction to deck building. But the thing is, when I usually gift it, it was like the old school, like $15 deck. It was just like literally just for two players,
Right.
and it was just a deck of cards basically. But now with this new version, which I'm excited about, it's a box set, so you can play up to 4 players. It's got a board, sort of like if you remember the game Ascension, you have a board where you can lay out all the cards. It's really, really neat, a neat way to organize things. And then this also plays up to 4 players, so you get all 4 in one. And then, Rahdo, I think you'd be interested in this. It also comes with 2 different variants. It comes with a cooperative variant that you can play and a solo variant as well. Now, I've gotten the opportunity to play the cooperative variant. It's very, very good. You're still playing standard Star Realms. You know, you're building your fleet. Your ships have currency. They also have combat. You're using those to blow up the enemy ships. But now with the cooperative version, you're actually fighting like a boss monster, and you have different ways that you have to take their health down to 0 and so forth. I think this is the way, and this is the reason why I'm excited about. This is the one I will be gifting from now on, because I think this is the perfect entry point for Star Realms, because it has the base set, but then it also includes those solo and cooperative versions as well, and they're oversized as well. So it's not just like a little card for the cooperative version. It's like oversized card, so it's easy to read. Everyone on the table can see it. Comes with the board. Comes with all kinds of great stuff. That's my number 10. It is the Star Realms box set.
Well, okay, I have to admit, I was going to be tuning out for that entire entry, I'll be honest, because, yeah, I mean, Star Realms, I don't get me wrong, it's a brilliant design. I totally understand why it is so universally adored, really.
Yes.
There's tournaments for it that are going all the time, so I totally get it. But I've always felt it's just a little too light. Jen and I, we've tried it. We've also tried the fantasy version, which didn't really, capture our imagination at all. So it's just always been. But you've caught my attention. I mean, with the what do you call it, the solo, but more importantly with the co-op. And you are saying you have played it. And it rocks, or it slaps, as the kids say, I think.
As the kids say, it slaps. Do the kids still say that? I don't know.
Do they? I just did, on behalf of all kids.
You did, yeah. Slap. And, I'll throw in, hey, it was lit. There you go. There's a word that I have no idea what it means. But, yeah, it's a lot of fun, and I think it's the perfect. Again, it's more of an entry level game as far as deck building. So this is the type of thing that you gift during the holidays and so forth. But also, it does have the pedigree behind it. The designers, Rob Dougherty and I think it's Darwin Castle. These are former Magic the Gathering professionals.
Yeah, so, world class players.
They are Hall of Fame players and designers now. So they have the design pedigrees out of this world, and I've always enjoyed it. Again, this particular version is going to be a little lighter, but you know what? As you get into the game, there are promos, there are expansions that really level it up. So,
that's true.
So take a look at that. Yeah.
All right.
So there it is.
And if you're ever thought about starting it, this is the way to start it, with this box.
Absolutely. 100%.
Perfect.
Yep.
All right. Well, then let's move on to my number 9. For the King and Me. And I have to admit, I barely knew of the existence of this game like 2 weeks ago. I had no idea it was coming out, but I stumbled across it when I was doing my Game of the Year lists and all that. And I was looking at what games have I missed for the year. And then when I saw it was for sale at 20% off, 19% off, I knew this would have to go on my list because I would totally rush right out and get this right now. Now, I don't know, Ruel, if you have ever played Biblios.
I have played Biblios. I enjoy Biblios a great deal.
Biblios is a fantastic, phenomenal game. Quite frankly, one of the best modern Euro-style designer card games of all time, as far as I'm concerned. For the King and Me is a 2.0 of Biblios. It is from designer Steve Finn. It is from publisher Yellow, the team that brought us Biblios all those years ago, and they've gone back. They've completely changed everybody's running a monastery trying to create a great library. Now everybody is in an imperial court trying to impress the king by doing all kinds of tasks and being the best at it. But the theme is secondary to this game. At its heart, this got one of the most clever card drafting systems of all time, because in both Biblios Biblios, and now in For the King and Me. On your turn, you are going to draw a number of cards. You draw a card from the deck. You have to decide, am I going to keep this card for myself? Am I going to put it in a pool that my opponents can get? Or am I going to put it in an auction pile that will be bid on later? And once I make that decision, oh, this is an awesome card, but I don't need this card. If I put it in the pool, though, somebody else might get it later in the auction. Do I put it over there with one of my opponents getting it? No, I guess I'll take it for myself. And then you draw another card. And then you look at that and like, oh, that's the card I wanted, but I've already taken a card for myself. So now I have to take this other card and either put it in the pool for the auction later or give it to one of my opponents. And every round you do this. You have to draw multiple cards depending on how many players there are. And it is just the most wonderful tension-inducing thing because the cards you're grabbing are things that will let you bid well in the auction. They are things that let you do set collection because you're trying to get the most of certain tasks that you're trying to do to impress the king. And there are also cards that let you change the perceived value of how good those tasks are. If I'm really rocking diplomacy tasks, I want to invest and make those worth more in the eyes of the king. Whereas if I'm terrible at diplomacy and Ruel's really good at it, I want to grab those cards that let me make diplomacy a useless skill. So every round in the first half of the game, you're trying to grab these cards or at the very least keep them away from your opponent. But there's no worse feeling. Okay, I've taken one for myself. Okay, because it was good. Oh, and I've taken this one's really good too. I'll put it in the pool so that my opponents can't get it, and then I draw the third card, and that's better than any of them, and I have no choice but to give it to my opponents. It's awesome. There's one more thing that For the King does. While keeping the core gameplay alive, it increases the player count, so now you can play 5 players, which you were not able to do with Biblios. So that's a pretty big deal. Biblios is phenomenal. I have successfully paid Biblios with complete and total novices. It's a great gateway, but it's still really, really deep, really fun. And I got to say, the thing I appreciate most about For the King and Me at this point, it's got a stronger theme that just makes more sense. The fact, we're trying to get better at tasks. Tasks are no longer a favored thing. It actually feels like you're doing something as opposed to just kind of doing this arbitrary, abstract card drafting. And I really appreciate that too, which is why it made my number 9 For the King and Me.
What a great choice. I had no idea about this game. So you just introduced me to a brand new game, and I know Biblios. I've enjoyed it many, many times in the past, so this is definitely now on my radar. Great choice.
Yeah, okay. Well, then what is your number 8?
My number 8 is from Thunderworks Games. It's a game called Cape May. This is a new one from Thunderworks. I had the pleasure of seeing a very early prototype of this over at Gen Con a couple of months ago. Thanks to Tim over there at Thunderworks for showing me and taking me through the game. This is a city building game, and players are all entrepreneurs developing the property, building wealth and so forth. It's a card-driven game, and it's area majority scoring. So if area majority scoring is not your jam, this might not be for you. But I know this is my type of game. You start with cottages, you develop it into houses, and you go bring those into historical landmarks. You're creating shops that are going to eventually, become eventual profitable businesses, earn you income, and you're going to move around the city as well, trying to, use your activity cards, trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to do this? Can I complete this bonus goal before so-and-so does? This checks off all the marks of a game that I like. It plays in about, I think, 90 minutes to 2 hours. So it's not really a light game, a lightish game, but I think it's one of those games, again, on first glance, where I feel like it's going to be easy to learn, but there's going to be that nice depth of strategy that you may not see at first as you're building. When I saw the prototype for this, and it was close, it was still a prototype, but it was close to final production. The little minis, the houses, and everything look fantastic. It's got this really killer table presence, just absolutely gorgeous. So you're building at Cape May. This is in, I believe, New Jersey. So it's like that eastern seaboard type city. It actually reminded me a little bit of Embarcadero, whereas that was like the West Coast building that you're building up there. This is the East Coast version, except without all the shipping containers and stuff. But this is another game that I'm really looking forward to, and that's Cape May from Thunderworks Games.
Cool. Hey, I'm looking at the board right now. Can you tell me, that circle up in the top left, is this a Rondel-based game?
The circle? Oh, you know what? I don't... Gosh. No,
I know it's been a while. You just remember liking it when you saw the demo.
Yeah. Gosh, was that a Rondel? It might have been a resource tracker.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah. because I know it was heavily driven by the movement that you do. So maybe it is work. Oh, folks, now we got to take a closer look at this. I wish I would have taken a little closer look at this before we jumped on here.
Well, you didn't know I was
But
going to give you the cross-examination third
yeah,
degree.
you totally jumped. Yeah,
I've
you're. Oh
heard good
man,
things
now
about this game. And I
yes,
saw it, and I thought about putting it on my list, but I just realized I didn't know enough about it. So, but I
yeah.
mean, you
Apparently, I
played it,
didn't
and you
either.
really
So.
dug it as in prototype form.
Yes, yes, and just going through the sample turn, like I remember, they had mentioned it was a pretty tight game as far as I think it's a total of maybe 16 turns total. So
Oh,
you
I
really got
see.
to be efficient. Yeah, you got to
Yeah,
be
yeah,
really
yeah.
efficient in your use of resources and where you're going to allocate what majority you're going for. One of those really classic. I always love these type of games. Like you want to do all the stuff, but you only have a very limited set of actions that you can do.
Yeah.
I love that in the game. So yeah, that's my number eight is Cape May from Thunderworks Games.
Okay, well, it sounds great, and like I said, I've been really interested in it in quite a while. And yeah, if that's a rondelle thing, I mean, rondelles are one of my favorite mechanisms of all time, quite
Yeah,
frankly. I mean, I just love them to bits and bobs. All right, but anyway, so that was your number 8. So we're on to my number 7, correct? I'm losing
that's
track
correct.
already. Yeah? Yes. Okay, then my number 7 is PAX. PAX
Oh.
PAX. Now, I don't know if you played this. This is an older game. And in fact, I did not find it in the new releases. I found it in their blowout liquidation section, or maybe it was their, hard to find games. But when I saw
Wow.
it was 50% off, and you could get this game for $14.99. And I gotta say, this game is fantastic. And I figured I had to put it on the list because everything I just said about Biblios pretty much applies to this game. This is Gamer's Biblios, quite frankly.
Oh.
It's a card game. It's driven by the same core idea that every round you are going to have to draw one at a time a series of cards, keep one for yourself, put one out in a pool that other players can grab from. Although in this game you could also grab from it as well if the timing is right, or basically dump it and remove it from the short-term game. And that decision is brilliant in Biblios. It's brilliant here. In this game, though, we are all members of the slave revolt led by Spartacus in ancient Rome. And we're all different factions, and we are trying to do the best to gather all the resources we need, get soldiers on our side, get military equipment, get the support of the Senate, get money, get merchants on our side. That's what all these cards represent. And as we're collecting more and more of them, we are getting stronger and stronger because this is a competitive game. Even though we all have the shared goal of overthrowing Rome, we still want to be, we want to get the attaboy from Spartacus himself at the end of the game by doing the best job. Here's the interesting thing about this game and why Jen and I really dug it. Rome is an active participant, is a competitor in this game. Because if you and I are playing this game, there's a third player called Rome. Because after the end of a round, after everybody does all that heartbreaking drafting the cards and putting them out, Rome gets to come along and just grab the biggest pool of cards that's still around because they have infinite money. And so over the course of the game, they are slowly amassing a gigantic army, all the land they need to hold the army, a fleet, all these other kinds of things. And it's incumbent on us. At the end of the game, we are judged on, I think there's like 6 different types of cards. Control of the merchants, control of the Senate, military, stuff like that. And we have to beat Rome in 4 of those 6 categories as a group. If I beat him in 3 and you beat him in 1, then Rome is down, the slaves revolt is successful, and one of us is crowned the winner of the game. Here's the thing, though, Ruel. If you and I are playing, and I'm doing my best to take down Rome, and you're thinking, you know what? I don't think we can beat Rome. I think Rome is going to win. You can draft for certain cards that basically, they're called intrigue cards. Because at the end of the game, if Rome is not defeated, if as a group we did not do enough to overthrow Rome, whoever had the most intrigue wins the game. So it's a
Ooh.
trader game. It turns Biblios
Ah.
into a resource management, semi-cooperative trader game that has so much going on. It is really deep, incredibly rich. Jen and I, we played it quite a bit back in the day, and when I saw it here for such a low price, it just seemed like such a no-brainer. You know, I mean, Biblios you get as a really wonderful gateway game. PAX you get because you love the idea of the gameplay of Biblios, but you want a really rich, heavy game with lots of extra stuff. stuff, managing money, all kinds of things. And yeah, it's a very impressive game from designer Bernd Eisenstein, who also designed Peloponnese, which is in my top 10 favorite games of all time. So no surprise I'm going to like this. But yeah, PAX, it came out, gosh, like 2012. It got a reprint back in 2019. I'm assuming this is, copies of the reprint. And yeah, just talking about it makes me want to play it again. My number 7, PAX.
Wow, nice. I have never played the game, but I've seen it over the years, and just for whatever reason, I've never been there when it's played. But now hearing all that, I'm like, okay, this has got me intrigued. The Biblios, the heavier or gamers Biblios,
yeah.
I'm all over that. That sounds wonderful. Awesome. Okay, let's get ready for. I'm moving on to my number 6.
Your number 6, now. Okay.
Okay, let me.
I am ready to type.
Okay, number 6 is Imperial Steam.
I see. Yes.
This one, I am going. Okay, I'm going to be honest. This game, I'm strictly going on my gaming group. Now we're getting back together again. I have not been back for about a few weeks now with my buddies here, but they've been playing a heck of a lot of Imperial Steam.
Without you?
Without me, believe that? I mean, the holidays and everything, but and scheduling and stuff like that. But the reason why I'm so hyped about this, it's got one big comparison. People compare it to Brass Birmingham, which I absolutely adore, love. I think it's one of my top 10 games of all time, where you're building up industry during the industrial age. The industry is booming. You have all these different types of things. What you're doing though is building a railway network, and you need to move your goods, pick up and deliver. But at the same time, you need to watch your stock shares. You're trying to, when are you going to sell your stock in your companies to investors to get that influx of cash. You're trying to balance that. It's an economic game, which I'll be the first to admit, I'm terrible at these type of games. I mean, Brass Birmingham, as much as I love it, I've probably won the game like twice out of a couple of dozen times, but I always enjoy the experience. Maybe because I'm so bad at it, I really enjoy the challenge of it, right? And this one, from what I understand, it's similar to Brass, but people seem to be enjoying the economic part of this game a little more, with the selling shares, investments, and stuff like that, whereas Brass didn't really have that. That was a lot more heavy on the pick up and deliver aspect of the
which this game does as well. It definitely has that. I can tell you, I have played this game. And
you have? Oh, yes, I did not know that.
It is terrifying how I'm not going to, it's not overly heavy. It's interesting you draw a comparison. It hadn't occurred to me, but yeah, it's kind of in the same Brass area.
Right.
Here's the thing. First of all, I got to say, probably the coolest thing about this game, you mentioned it, is the way the stock system works, because there are certain things you can do to get more investors in your own shipping company. And you need those investors to make the money, to lay the track, to build the factories, to produce the goods, to ship to the cities, to get the points, all that kind of stuff, right? But when these investors come in, one of the actions you can do is sell to them, and then you can get a huge influx of cash. And money is so tight in this game, so skin flint tight. It's incredible. But what happens is you say, "Oh, great, thanks, investor," and in another game, they just go away. They got their portion of the company, whatever. Here's the deal: every time you sell to your investors, who are a resource you have to kind of get in the first place, you have to get them on board, and then you sell shares to them. You get that money, and then you put them in this little special place on your board. And at the end of the game, every investor that's in that little ring takes 10% of your profits at the end of the game. And money is points in this game. So if you sold to 10 investors, at the end of the game, you will literally, no matter how much money you made, you will get 0 because they took 100%. And so every time, and you need to use these, and you need to use it early. And when they don't even give you very much money because your shares weren't, but you do that knowing that at the end of the game, oh my God, am I going to give up on, I'm already at 20% of my points I'm going to lose at the end of the game. Is it worth it to give up 30% of my final tally at the end of the game to get this influx of cash, to get this delivery to this city before you do? And chances are it is. But those are incredibly agonizing decisions. And another thing, when I say it's brutal, this game, If you make bad moves, it's all to me. It almost feels like 18xx-ish. If you make bad moves in this game, the game will punish you. There's no soft safety net in this game. If you don't play smart, if you make ill-advised early moves, they can compound and destroy you. So you
Yeah.
have to bring your A game. And so I worry for you a little bit when you said that you've had a hard time doing brass. Brass is more
Yeah.
forgiving than this game, but
Yeah.
it is a brilliant design. I'm sure anybody who loves really heavy economic simulations, this has got to be in their top 10 of the year.
Which is funny you mentioned it. I'm thinking of the guys that have played, my friends in the game group that have played this. The ones that rave about, that love
Yeah.
it, they're all 18xx gamers. So
There you
like,
go.
okay, that makes sense.
I
That makes
guarantee you,
sense.
the reason they want you to play with this with them is so that they can
Yeah.
convert you to an 18xx. Or look, you can handle Imperial Steam. 18xx is
Yeah.
just another 10%. It's no problem.
That's pretty much. I think I see what you're saying. I think I know their plan now. Yeah. So that is my number 6. That is Imperial Steam.
An excellent choice. I do not
Yeah.
blame you at all. Well, okay then, let's talk about my, where are we now? We're at number 5. Thank you. You just said that. My number 5, this is kind of, I think, the second time this has appeared, because we do this list monthly, right? Where we just look at what's on Fun Again, what's going on, what would we be interested in buying these days. And so I think this is like the 6th or 7th time we've done this. And I'm basically going to be talking about a sequel that I think I mentioned earlier in an earlier list. What am I talking about? Well, I'm trying to do a search for it, so I have it at the ready, except I can't type to save my life and talk at the same time. I thought I was good at it, but I'm not. Let me try one more time. Hee hee. There we go. There we go.
Right.
There we go. So many options. There it is. My number 5, Ruel, thank you for your patience and for the audience's patience, is Pandemic Hot Zone Europe.
Wow.
Yes.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
fantastic.
Yes. Now,
Yes.
okay. I believe I don't need to just explain Pandemic. If you're watching this, there's no way you don't know what Pandemic is. So let's just skip over that. Pandemic Hot Zone is a new Pandemic series that basically could have been called Pandemic Express, because you can get a full or kind of a truncated hyperspeed version of the Pandemic experience in 15 minutes or less at any player count. And that includes even setup and put down. It's an incredible design feat what this game does. And earlier in the year, they had put out Pandemic Hot Zone North America, which had you playing Pandemic only in North America trying to stop the spread of the disease. They've now released the sequel, but it's a standalone Pandemic Hot Zone Europe, and now we're running around Europe trying to stop the spread of disease. There's new things, mutations. The first one, it had special events that could mess you up. This one had mutations. These are ideas that have appeared in other versions of Pandemic and expansions over the years. And again, it's a great game that lets you sit down and get a full Pandemic experience in 15 minutes. Here's why I'm talking about this today. It's not for Pandemic Hot Zone Europe. It's not for Pandemic Hot Zone North America. It's for Pandemic Hot Zone Hemispheres. Because if you pick up both of these games, and both of these games are available for $14.99, so you can get both of them for less than the cost of most board games today, you get a special way to play where it's a 2-player only game where I am in control of the North America map, and you, Ruel, are in control of the Europe map. And we both have a team of specialists who are running around trying to stop the spread of, the pandemics on our board. And even though we're playing almost 2 games in parallel, I've got my focus of the world, you've got your hemisphere you're focusing on, we can interact with each other. We can still do special powers. The dispatcher can still dispatch somebody even if they're on the other side of the world. We can still share stuff, and we can actually leave our board and come over to the board of our teammates. And here's the deal. I loved it. First time Jen and I played it, I thought this is really fantastic. A wonderful, fresh new way to play Pandemic. It kind of mixes the solo mode that you saw in Pandemic Fall of Rome, where you're controlling 3 characters, but you have one common set of cards, and then you have kind of a communal group of cards you can draw from. Everybody can draw from the communal group. The archive, it's called. It's in between both of our cards. We can put stuff in there to share with each other, even if we don't get to the same areas like normal. So I really thought it was great. I was just the other day talking with my wife, Jen, about her favorite games of the month. Playing Hemispheres was her favorite game of the month, and it really shocked me when she said she thinks it's her favorite way to play Pandemic, period.
Wow,
Yes.
really?
And honestly, I don't know if
Wow.
I'm ready to say that. Those are strong
Okay.
words. But the
Those are strong
Hemispheres
words.
variant, which I should say, by the way, if you do pick up both of these, you won't find the rules for it in the box for either of them. You have to go to Z-Man's website and you can download and print out the rules. The rules are pretty straightforward, though, and it's brilliant because it's a version of Pandemic where you're controlling three characters at once, trying to fight. Because, okay, we got to cure all the pandemics on my board and your board. We have to cure the diseases 6 times over the course of this game. And while explosions are happening all over the place, and we are juggling our own individual group of specialists. You're not just one character; you're three characters. So it makes the game heavier than normal. A lot more stuff going on. Kind of likens to the later play of Pandemic Legacy Zero, when you get in that game you can get really complex, super convoluted characters that do a lot of stuff. This game just gives that to you out of the bat. So
Nice.
my number 5 is kind of a combo. It's Pandemic Hot Zone Europe plus Pandemic Hot Zone North America, which,
I
according to my
am
wife, is the best way to play Pandemic.
I am ecstatic right now hearing that you've already played. So Michelle and I, we have both the North America and the Europe Pandemic Hot Zones, and I did download the rules from the
Okay.
website for Hemispheres, but we have not played it yet. I was hoping to do it before the end of the year, but we're probably going to do it started next year. But hearing what you just said about that, I am so fired up to try it now. That is great news. I can't wait to play it. It's going to be a blast.
Cool. I hope you like it. Do you think you're going to stream it
Yeah.
on your Twitch channel?
Probably, yeah, we'll probably stream it. So, folks, if you don't know,
Yeah.
I'm on Twitch at Ruel Gaviola. You can find me streaming board games several times a week, usually with my wife Michelle, sometimes with friends or family, and sometimes I do solo stuff as well.
Check
All
him out,
right.
folks.
So,
He is fantastic. I got hooked on Ruel watching him stream live, and that's why I ultimately wanted him to be on my channel, because he's so good. And I mean, he'll show you off such a great range of games, and it's just fun watching him and his wife tease each other and all of that.
yeah, we have a good time. Thank you, my friend. Okay, let's move on to my number 4. So I'm going a little old school here. This game's been out for a little bit now, but a new version has just come
Okay.
out. My number 4 is Akrotiri.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this was out of print for years. I actually got a first edition copy years ago. Very fortunate. A friend was selling it off, so I got that one. But now it's back in a second revised edition from, I believe, Z-Man Games does it. But
I think so.
this is, yeah, we were just talking about pick up and deliver. This has a little bit of pick up and deliver in it, but it's mainly a tile placement game. You and your opponent, it's a 2-player game, and I think this is easily my top 5 2-player games of all time.
Wow.
Yes, it is absolutely fantastic. What I love about it is this small box game, but it's got so much brain burn in it for a small box game. Your lane tiles, you have this main island, you're going to slowly but surely build these shipping lanes where you're going to, bring your boats around, collect resources. And the object of the game is to, you want to develop these islands so you can find the hidden temples. And you have map cards. I'm going to show you where the temples are, but what you're trying to do is place the tiles in a way that the temples will show up, right? So one has to have a certain symbol here in this portion of the map. Another has to have a certain symbol here. And you're trying to manipulate the map and at the same time trying to get resources so you can collect money so you can buy more maps. And it's got this nice little balancing act of when you ship resources, you're going to, sort of manipulate the market a little bit and, I can get more money for this good at this time, or I can ship this later. Hopefully the price will be more. I'm always impressed by this game. And like, it's a 45-minute play time, about 30 to 45 minutes for a 2-player game. But it's very thinky for what it is. You don't, at least I didn't expect it the first couple of times I played it, where, okay, it's a tile laying game, cool. It's got a little pick up deliver, cool. But then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I need to figure out how I'm going to make these maps work or make these islands work for my map so I can discover these temples, because it's a race. You need the race to get the first, I think it's reveal 6 or whatever. And you'll have points on base of that. But I love everything about this game. It has a nice blend of mechanisms. It's got a nice little bit of, I shouldn't say brain burniness, but maybe a very nice thinkiness to it for what appears to be a lighter game. But it's not. Don't let the small print fool you, folks. There's a lot of game in this box. This is why it's my number 2, Akrotiri, or my number 4.
Your number 4, yes. Yeah, number 4, Akrotiri. Yes. An excellent choice. I'm so glad you mentioned. I'm so glad we're not just doing nothing but cults of the new today. We're going into some older classics as well. Here's the deal. I do not like pick up and deliver games at all. A few years
Oh, you
ago,
don't?
no, they're just not gens in my jam. Neither of us really dig it. We
Oh,
usually find them pretty boring, quite frankly, and drudgery.
okay.
Just I gotta walk over here, get the thing. Now I gotta walk over there, and deliver the
Mhm.
thing. Just never really, very rare. Years ago, I did a top 10 pick up and deliver games, and this ranked very, very high. This is an excellent game. This is a pick up and deliver game for people who hate pick up and deliver because most of
Yeah.
the game is about the tiling and, like you were talking about, trying to create those patterns to fulfill
Mhm.
the treasure maps for all intents and purposes. Because I got to get all these stuffs in these particular spots in this communal world that we're trying to bring. When you actually start to move around and pick stuff up and move them, you just instantly, it's almost like you teleport. Your ships are super fast. Okay, I'm over here, and next turn I'm over there, and all of the okay, another 3 turns, I'll be in Tallahassee and I'll be able to drop off this wheat or grain or whatever. I think it's fantastic. You said it's in your top list for 2-player games. It would
Yes.
certainly come pretty close to my top for them as well. I have held on to my copy forever. I think it's fantastic, an excellent
Yeah.
choice. A
Yeah.
very, very good call,
Thank
Akrotiri.
you.
If
Yes.
people haven't heard
Absolutely
of
love
it,
it.
definitely check it out. Now, here's the thing you may not have known. It was originally designed to be 2 to 4 players.
Yes.
Oh, did you hear about
That's right.
this? And you
I
can
did hear
still
about
play
this.
it as a 4-player game, but you have to buy 2
Yeah.
copies. They took it out though because the 4-player game became an epic experience. It takes
Yeah.
so long, and Z-Man, I think, rightly decided, you know what? Let's just keep this a tight, compact, fast-playing 2-player game.
Yeah, yeah, I think that was the right decision as well because the game, when you play it 2 players, is it's back and forth, and it does have some thinkiness to it. But I can see it totally bogging down at 3 and 4 players, and I think by keeping it 2, they keep it a wonderful 2-player experience. So that was a good call on their
Yep.
part. But it's good to hear that. I'm happy to hear that even though you're not a pick up and deliver fan, that this still ranks highly with you. And I think for the reason that you said, it's perfect that it's not really a hardcore pick up and deliver game where you're not like wasting her, just waiting to like deliver stuff. No, you're going to instantly deliver stuff
Yeah.
because you can usually get to where you need to go.
Super
Quickly.
satisfying game. It does so many
Yeah.
things, so smart. Was it designed by Senfun Leung and Jake Cormier? Is that right?
And Jay Konya, yeah,
Yeah.
they're a wonderful design team.
Oh my gosh, yes. One of the best. I mean, that design team, everything they do is worth checking out, and they don't quite get the same attention as a Kramer and a Kiesling or what have you, but really phenomenal design duo. Yeah. Akrotiri, good call. All right,
Thanks.
well, if people were paying attention, I accidentally spilled the beans and showed my number 3 early, which is Savannah Park. I'll put that back on the
Nice.
screen now. And now I'm just going to completely fly in the face of what I said about, hey, not doing all Cult of the New stuff. This is brand spanking new, and it's fantastic. And it is from designers Kramer and Kiesling. Still, with good reason, probably the premier design duo in the board game industry. Whenever they work together on something, they are going to produce something incredibly special, and Savannah Park is no exception to that. It is what would you call it? Have you played it, Will? I think you might have. Are you?
No, I have not played it yet. We've actually talked about it. I think before in a previous episode.
Yeah, because I was talking about it for either Gen Con or Essen, because it was
Yes.
high on my list for those as well. If I'd been at those conventions, I would have gotten it. I have gotten it. Jen and I have played it. It is phenomenal. Here's what it is. Basically, everybody gets a board with a whole bunch of tiles with animals all over them, and everybody arranges those tiles completely randomly on their board. So the board is full of animals, and then it's also full of blank spaces. And Ruel, when it's your turn, you take any one of the tiles that has yet to be flipped. So any of the fresh tiles, you pick it up, you say what animals are on it. You say, okay, I'm using the one with 2 elephants and a giraffe, or the one with a bat and a mongoose, or whatever it might be. And then everybody finds that same animal tile on their own board. Everybody picks it up, and then you flip it to indicate it's been used, and you put it in one of the empty spaces on your board. And that, I just described all the rules for the game. That's almost it. It's that simple. And so I do that. I move the elephant giraffe tile. You move yours. And because we had different boards, we're already, right from that first thing, ending up doing different odd things because there are rules. Ideally, we want all the elephants next to the elephants. And we want all the giraffes next to the giraffes. Because at the end of the game, we will score our biggest group of each of the animals. So if I'm going to move that elephant giraffe tile, I need to be thinking, okay, but now that I put this here, I'm going to want to get all the elephants, maybe kind of northeast of it, and all the giraffes southwest of it. But those spaces are all full of a bunch of other animals. So I got to move those other animals out of the way to make room for the giraffes to try to get that big group of giraffes and elephants. And then there's other stuff as well. Some animals want to be next to trees. Some animals want to be away from fire, as you might imagine. So it's a very puzzly game, but it's basically kind of like, well, it has kind of a bingo feel, because when it's your turn, you're going to pick one tile and everybody has to deal with that. And hey, it's perfect for me. I can just put this in position. But everyone's like, no, not that one. I have to move that now. I needed that one to not move yet because I was waiting for its space to open up. But now I have to move it now. And okay, I guess I could put it over here, and then maybe I could make a bridge to the rest of it. There's some of the tiles have water pools, which are a multiplier value for the big group and all that. It is brilliant. It's a fun, fast-playing game. It's got a great presentation, and so I think it's a good gateway style game. This is one of those family games that gamers are going to really, really dig, hardcore gamer geeks, because it's very, very deep, but it's so incredibly easy to teach and explain and just sit down and play. And it's also a very fast game too. So if somebody says, oh my gosh, I've ruined myself, you can say, don't worry, it's only 5 more minutes, and then we'll see how it worked out and we can try again, and you've learned. Kramer and Kiesling, they're the best in the business for a reason, and this is just another example of them totally knocking it out of the park with my number 3, Savannah Park.
Yeah, everything you talked about, I remember we've talked about this before. I am looking forward to get this to the table.
Oh,
I know it's going to. Yeah, I know this is going to be a big hit with my family. Again, Kramer Kiesling, and one of those, like you were saying, one of those games like, I wish I would have done better, but hey, we got 5 more minutes, we're done, let's play a game. I love games like that, and those play well with my family.
You know what? If you get a copy of this game, this would be a great RVR game.
Why not? Yeah, because it's bingo style. Oh my goodness, yeah, that might be it, my friend.
Yep. For folks who don't know, Ruel and I, in addition to getting together every week and filming the R&R show where we just talk about games we love, occasionally, very rarely, we get together to try to pummel each other into the dirt in the RVR show instead. This is something that gets unlocked when we hit certain subscription milestones on the Twitch show. We just hit one, so we were already starting to think about what do we want to play together in January. Oh, I'm thinking it might be a time to make a trip to Savannah Park.
Yeah, I think we're going to have to go visit Savannah Park. That's a great call. Yeah, let's do it. Let's make that happen.
Okay.
All right.
So what's your number 2?
My number 2, let me update right now. My number 2 is a little mix of old and new, actually. It's a new game called Art Decko, but it's been out for a while under the name Promenade. This is from a very prolific designer here, back at home in Southern California, Tate Wu. He's done a lot of smaller games. This one, when I played it as Promenade, was absolutely phenomenal. It's a deck building game of set in the art world. So you are a art collector. You're collecting all these different paintings, and it's a deck building game. So what you're doing is you're playing paintings from your hand. They have different values, and what I really like about this game is the paintings that you play. The certain type that you play, there's different categories of paintings that you may play. Those increase in value. So the more you play, the more they're going to increase in value, which allows you to buy other paintings. Yes, for everybody. So it's got this it's really neat. I don't think I've seen it in any other deck building game where those cards are being manipulated like that throughout the game. And as you increase your buying power, you can buy different types of paintings. You have different goals. There's different goals for in every game. They change up. Like maybe you want some nature paintings, maybe you want impressionists or whatever. And what this new version does is mainly it's a different art. So the original designer, Tate Wu, he's also an artist. So he actually did all the art in the original version. Yes. But now what they've done is they've got this all-star lineup of designers. I think Heather Vaughn is one of them. Kwanchai Moria is one of them. Even some of Tate's originals are still in the game. So you have all these different artists now with the different art. Gameplay is pretty much the same. I think they might have changed a thing or two. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe on the player rate it'll say. But it's a fun game. And what's great about it, it's a really great experience for under an hour. It's still it doesn't overstay its welcome. All the times I played as Promenade, all the times we played, we loved it. My buddies and I, we were like, oh, this is going to be a game. And so I was super excited when Tate announced he had gotten picked up by Rio Grande, because I felt like this game deserves a bigger audience. And now that it's out as Art Deco, it will get that bigger audience. That's why it's my number 2 game that I would buy right now. Art Deco from Tate Wu.
Well, you have definitely piqued my interest, especially because I actually have a copy of it in the very next room.
Really?
And I
Oh my
honestly, I didn't know
gosh.
what to make of it. I played one game from Tate Wu many years ago. I don't remember the name of it. It was a social deduction game where you're trying to figure out. See, I can't remember the name of it, but it was really
Does it
smart.
have like chickens or something like that, or
No, I don't. I don't think so.
no?
Maybe, but I mean, I
Okay.
was really impressed by that. So I've always been on the lookout for other games from him. And so when
Yeah.
I saw this was coming, I contacted Rio Grande and said, "Yeah, we'll send you out one. We'd love to cover it." So you have. I mean, it was on my list of things to do, but it wasn't ranking very high. You have just pushed it up quite a bit higher for Art
Yeah.
Deco.
It's a wonderful experience. I think you're going to enjoy it. Deck building game with that market manipulation for the cards. Oh, so good. So
Cool.
that's my number two Art Deco from Tate Wu.
Okay, well, so that was
All
kind of
right.
a nice mix. It was a classic that's just been, revamped. So it was
Revamp. Yep.
cult of new and cult of old. I'm going pure.
Yeah.
I'm ending. As much as I said, oh, it's great that we talk about older stuff. How about we talk about one of the newest hotnesses that's out right now that absolutely blew both me and Jen away the first time we played it? Corrosion. Oh my gosh. Oh my
Yes.
goch! I think we
Yes.
talked about this on a previous episode because again, it was something that
We
was
did.
coming on probably Essen or something like that, and
Yep.
I'd ranked it very very high as a game I wanted to play, and with good reason because it does not disappoint. This game is so good it made my top 10 of the year. While you were away, I did a top 10, and I forget. I think maybe it was my number 7. Was that right? Something like there, and it's brilliant. Here's the dealio. We are running Steam. It's set in a kind of steampunk Victorian era type setting, but that's largely abstracted away. We're just running factories. What do we do with our factories? We make machines. What do the machines do? They generate points. That's all you need to know in terms of the story. But the most important actor in this game is not the players. It's the passage of time itself, because every player has a little time wheel on their board, and when you get a new machine that you're going to start working on, so that you can build this machine so that it will produce a lot of points or a lot of resources or it'll do game-changing effects. You put it on your board and you put it, like, if I recall correctly, everything goes into the third slot of the wheel, which means once that wheel rotates 3 times, that machine better be built, because if it's not, the steam in the air will make it corrode away to rust. And by the same token, the number one resource you have in this game are these gears, cogs you use to actually build the machines. They're your currency. And in this game, your currency will also rust away to nothing. If I make an awesome machine that gives me a lot of currency, I put that on the wheel, and in 3 rotations of the wheel, all those cogs they'll dust away like, Avengers Infinity War, and you'll lose them. So you're constantly fighting against the passage of time, because I got to get all this stuff done before the wheel turns and turns them all off. By the same token, though, I want that wheel to turn, because if my machine is built and ready to go, I need that wheel to get over there to activate the machine that I built and do all the stuff. So you are constantly on the knife's edge, trying to get your stuff done in time, trying to get your resources spent before it corrodes away to nothing, and all of this is driven by deck building. This is a deck builder like your previous one. You have a deck full of engineers. And by the way, as an aside, I think it's awesome that every engineer in this game is a woman. It's just nothing but female
Oh,
engineers, the entire deck. They never mention it.
awesome.
It's just the way it is, and I think that's awesome. I absolutely love it. So, but every time you play an engineer for her effect, and they're different. Some of them have really weak effects. Some of them have really powerful game-changing effects. You put them on the wheel as well, because this is not a deck builder where you go through your deck and then you just reshuffle the discard pile and start drawing again. You put them on the board, and until that wheel rotates around to get to them, you can't reclaim. So you do not want the wheel to rotate because you're afraid of losing all your stuff. But you desperately want the wheel to rotate so you can get your cards back and do all your stuff. And these two things create such a wonderful tension. This is an incredibly puzzly game. And there's one other thing. I mean, because there have been other games, famously Zulkin, the Mayan calendar, that really make the passage of time a big part of gameplay. Gutenberg was another game that came out last year that does the same thing with its gear cogs, which is also awesome. But usually these games have the gears moving automatically. You have no control every round. They're just going to move forward, and you're just racing against the clock. In this game, you control the gear. You can no, I am stopping time. I'm going to try and buy myself 2 more rounds so I can get the last thing, so I can get this built, because if it moves one more time, I lose everything. So you are the one who chooses to make. And now, if you run out of cards, because on your turn, you're either going to move the gear or you're going to play another engineer. If you used up all your engineers, well, then the time is moving forward, whether you like it or not, and you better be ready for it. It's a brilliant, wonderful puzzly game. Really, it is abstract, but still kind of evocative, that idea that, all the steam in the air, you can just kind of feel it as it's just rusting everything away, and you're racing against the clock to use them before they're ruined. That's my number one game that I would go out and pick up right now. Corrosion. Phew.
This almost made my list. It was
yeah,
right there.
You saw it, yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. I remember, I think it was the Essen list that we did where you talked about it, and you totally piqued my interest then. And just hearing the description again, I'm like, I need to play this game. It sounds awesome.
Okay.
But I love that little touch that you mentioned. I had no idea that it was all women represented in the game. I think that's a nice touch, and let's see more of that, folks.
Yeah, definitely. Why not? I mean, nobody would second guess it if it was all men. So why should it be weird if it's all women? Let's do it. Come on, board game industry. Well done. Right. So that was my number one, and those are 10 games that I think. I think that was a great list of games. Some good, old stuff, some great old stuff, some great new stuff, and maybe you found something to be interesting to you, and you might want to go check it out on Fun Again Games, because if you're watching, you saw big savings on all of those games. And if you are lucky enough to win the contest, you'll have $50 gift certificate to spend. Now, in closing, folks, did you find the word? The magic word was bat. Did you hear it? And if so, what game was it said in? And send that to contest@rahdo.com, and hopefully a week from today, or whatever, the 4th of February, you will be the winner, and maybe you'll be able to put that towards one of those games. I stand by all of them. I mean, like I said, I would have cast an askance class at Star Realms because it just doesn't work for me. But as soon as you said the magic co-op word, you got me. You pulled me back in.
I knew right there. That was the word right there. So yeah, folks, whatever game one of us was talking about, we said the magic word bat. Type in the name of the game, contest@rahdo.com. You will be entered to win that $50 gift card from Fun Again Games.
Details of that are bound in the show notes as well if you have any further questions.
Yes.
Okay, Ro, I am so happy to have you back. It was very, very sad to go without you last week, but we are done. It's the end of the year. Next time we get together, it'll be a brand new year. Do you have any closing words of wisdom for the folks out there?
Wow. It's so this was actually episode 21, I believe.
Yes,
correct?
This is our 21st episode.
So we're fully legal. We passed all the age requirements.
So Rel is basically saying he's going to go out and get drunk now.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go have a cocktail. Now, it's been a fun ride. We're not done, folks. We're going to continue in the new year. We have so much. I have such a great time with this. Again, what's funny? I got to share this story real quick. Michelle and I, the other day, we started listening to Jacob Kohler because of the peppy music that you have in the intro. Mm-hmm. We found his YouTube channel, started listening to this. This guy's a wonderful piano.
Oh my gosh, he's so good. He's a great composer and arranger. For folks who don't know, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you watch on Twitch the day before when we stream live, we have an 8-minute countdown waiting for people to show up so they can watch all of our behind-the-scenes shenanigans trying to put on the show, and we do all kinds of other things. And the intro music is from Jacob Kohler, who is my favorite piano player now. There's a link for him down in the show notes, too. I'll put that down there if people would like to go check out his YouTube channel, because you'll be in for a treat. Just wonderful. Just endless amounts of wonderful music.
Yeah. Yeah, he is wonderful. As far as words of wisdom, I don't have any, except I just want to remind folks, be safe out there, be kind to each other, and thank you all for your support. We really appreciate it. We're enjoying doing this show. We're going to enjoy doing it next year as well. So thank you. And thank you, Rahdo, my friend, for your patience as I'm on the mend and getting better. And I love doing this show. It's always a pleasure to, talk to you about games and so forth. And even though we don't argue too much, I like the fact that we can find things to argue about anyways,
Yep. Cool. Yeah, it was great to have you. I'm looking forward to a new year, and here's to another 21 episodes.
Yes.
Although, in the meantime, folks, again, if you go to twitch.com or switch.com/Rahdo runs through, normally it's just every week we do this show. This Friday, the 31st of December, I will be getting on flying solo and doing a countdown of my most anticipated games for 2022. If you can't catch it live, that will go up live on January 1st, on New Year's Day. So you can look forward to that. For me, I'm sure, again, follow the links down in the show notes to Ruel. You can he's got a YouTube page where he's got an archive of all his old plays he's done with his wife and his daughter and his friends and all that. But definitely subscribe to him on Twitch. You do not want to miss when he gets on in the evening and him and Michelle just start going at it. It's a blast.
Thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to you. Come on by, folks. We have a good time with it, and it's all about the games. We really enjoy it, and we enjoy connecting with you all out there as well. And again, be safe out there, especially with the new year coming up. It gets a little crazy out there, but because we want to see y'all in 2022 for more board games and more here at Rahdo Runs Through.
Okay, cool. Well, then I'm going to say thanks for watching, everybody. If anybody can figure out, show us that picture one more time. That weird, creepy picture. If anybody can figure out what that is, and you can post it down in the comments, much appreciated. But otherwise, I'm going to say thanks to everybody for watching. Thanks to Ruel for being the best co-host ever. And thanks to our sponsor, Fun Again Games. Have a very nice day, everybody. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye.